Was anybody else just watching Peacemaker the entire time and was just like, what's going on here? Spoiler alert for Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 8, or the finale, the big thing we've all been waiting for, the big thing that I have to add, James Gunn has teased to be, like I think he said, some of his best work ever, both Episode 6 and Episode 8, so spoiler warning for that, and also a spoiler warning for the entire season. I went into this thinking that this is going to be one of the craziest pieces of cinema ever, and that might be my fault because of the high expectations, but also there was plenty of times James Gunn made me or led me to believe that this was going to be exactly what I thought. Some shit I have not expected, and it is just absolutely insane. And I have it over here on my phone, I believe, the tweet that, or the thread that he sent. James Gunn teases major DC cameos. We have some really big stars from the DC universe that are going to be near the end of the season. That's just one of the quotes. And then another quote was talking about how nobody has guessed so far what is going to happen, and it's so insane. Something along the lines, and maybe he's correct, no one did guess that this would be exactly what the ending was. It felt like the entire last episode was just a conclusion. It felt like there was a lot of dragged on moments just to kind of shush people who were saying the episodes were too short, being, like I believe like the shortest episode was like 34 minutes, and it's not something we're used to, especially from last season, where most of the episodes, at least how I remember, were like 40 minutes plus. It's just upsetting to see when the episode's only 30 minutes, but you feel like there's this massive conclusion, and then James Gunn's tease that it's going to be around an hour, and then it's like, I go on Twitter and it's like an hour and 9 minutes, and I'm like, this is great, I'm super excited, but I found myself throughout the entire episode like looking at the clock and then looking at this and looking at the clock and then looking at this, and I'm like, when do the big things happen that James Gunn was teasing? And to my surprise, nothing crazy happened. Now, when I say nothing crazy happened, there is actually one major thing that happens we're going to cover momentarily. Again, I have like a really weird love-hate relationship with this finale. Overall, I love the season. Overall, I thought it was great, but this finale kind of left me like, a lot of people are calling it nothing burger. A lot of people are saying they're getting blue balled. It's interesting because, the finale was just a conclusion. There was nothing crazy. It was progressing the story, but it progressed the story with kind of no conclusion. And not to say that this was a bad cliffhanger, because, okay, we're going to get into it. Chris is left in this prison on an alternate universe. And, it is definitely teasing Man of Tomorrow. And James Gunn went on this whole thing talking about the ending of the show and how it exactly leads to Man of Tomorrow with both Superman and Lex Luthor. But you're left there like, it's a great, awesome cliffhanger. I love the cliffhanger, but it was so almost unsatisfying because the whole episode, 11th Street kids are kind of broken up, and then they finally get back together. They get to Chris. We kind of see what happened with the boat between Chris and Hardcore, and it's like nothing really went on this episode. It was like a conclusion. It was like it was something that could have felt like it was like an episode 9. Like, episode 8 should have been something, and then this should have been like an aftermath of the season. Especially with how James Gunn is talking about how it's supposed to be this crazy thing. He's teasing cameos. He's teasing all these massive things, and maybe it's just my fault there for believing, I guess. Not to say I'm, again, upset. I think there's a lot of great setup, especially between, especially kind of cementing Rick Flag Sr. as this bad guy. There was like kind of towing the line, but now he's just full on heel turn, WWE chair shot to a friend's back. Like he's a heel turn this episode. Again, pretty much the majority of the episode is, kind of searching and going through these different dimensions to set this plan in motion where there's this spot where metahumans will be imprisoned, and we're not going to kill them. We're not going to put them in a prison so they can break out. We're just going to put them in a different dimension with them no way to get back. And of course, the ending shows that Peacemaker is the first kind of person, metahuman, whatever really at this point, to pretty much test it out. And Rick Flag has pretty much signed his name, and no one's going to question it. That he's going with that. Peacemaker volunteered to go there. He has been taken. He is there. The door closes, especially the door, the portal that Peacemaker gives them is ultimately the reason why he gets screwed. It's all going to be addressed pretty much in Man of Tomorrow, which we'll cover in another video. It felt like a lot of times there was a music video kind of showcasing what's happening with Chris and the 11th Street kids, where they make this area, little task force that they have going on, and everyone pretty much joins. Vigilante, Adebayo, everybody that, part of the 11th Street kids, but of course we see Tim Meadows' character, we also see Judo Master, we also see the cyborg girl, I keep forgetting her name. It is kind of a cool little gang going on here. You're still left at the end like, seeing the other universes was cool, but again, there weren't anything really crazy, but again, another thing, the doors were locked on most universes. It's an illegal thing he's doing, imprisoning people in another world, and we're going to kind of see this play out in Man of Tomorrow. So again, big thing people people are saying is the entire season he's only really worn the suit in like 2 episodes, but the like real suit that he wears with the no sleeves is like 1 episode. I know I'm leaving things out, but you know, you gotta let me know what you think of this down below. It's just it's basically the whole season pretty much was a meta human setup, and it's gonna be adapting the story, which I believe in some way adapting or was inspired by, people are calling it the deceased universe. But basically he was inspired by Planet Salvation, but he also says in Planet Salvation they do a Joker versus Lex Luthor thing. They're not doing that, but kind of a lot of inspiration was taken from that, but they're not gonna be going that route. I don't know, man. Let me know what you think of this ending down below. Let me know what you think. Great cliffhanger, but the episode just felt kind of lackluster. But I don't know. I love the season overall. I thought the season was great. There's a lot of great moments, a lot of great things with the characters. Overall, I think it was a great season, a good sequel to the first. But you know, I'm sitting here like, I don't want to wait this long, you know, for Man of Tomorrow. But let me know what you think of this down below.